22nd. So we'll call the meeting to order. Our first item is consideration of minutes from previous meetings. Peter sent those out this afternoon. I don't know if everybody got a chance to review them. Would anybody care to? Well, actually, I would make a motion because they look good to approve the minutes from 9/8 as presented.
I second.
Okay, who was that that seconded?
Andy Ruggles.
Okay, so we got a motion and a second. We'll go to roll call vote. So, Mr. Ruggles.
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
Colleen.
Aye.
Chris. Peter.
Aye.
Steve Gannon.
Aye.
And Mr. Weber.
I'll abstain. I wasn't in attendance.
All right, so we got, what is that? 1, 2. So that's 7-0-1. It passes. All right. Next item of business is public input. So I'm assuming, John, do we have anybody that's calling in?
There are just the members online today.
Okay. I am going to add in this piece communications. So I did want to pass along some communication from Natticook. And I just wanted to know if there were any updates. And so basically I'll read off what he said. Well, first of all, I guess one of his employees was not feeling well this week, so they were only able to cut the fields once this week, which they've been doing a couple of them twice a week. But because of the frost, the growth rate has really slowed down, so it really shouldn't impact anything this weekend. So if we do see something, just let them know. The slice seeding at Jeff Lane seems to have really taken off. And that the thin areas over there are filling in. He reported that Dara is coming in as well. However, areas with insufficient irrigation coverage are a little slow. And it's only rained once since we seeded. There are possible showers scheduled for Sunday, Monday, which will give it an additional boost. They are going to fertilize Dara once again late next week to keep it aggressive. And then they're going to slice seed again in 2 weeks in the opposite direction with another 500 pounds of seed. So this would help fill in any gaps that may have been missed. And, they do project that the field will be in great shape next spring. All
Andy,
right.
can I add something to that? I try to stop by Dara daily just to see the difference. I am seeing growth. It's looking better. Definitely needs some more time. But there's also a broken sprinkler head near Talent Hall right at the corner. And it's just shooting water straight up when the sprinklers are running. And it is the one when you first enter the field, the building is on the right, and it is the first entrance to the parking lot that goes around the back of the building. And it's the one right there in the corner.
So is it on the side of the fence of the fields, or is it on the side of Dara?
Side of Dara.
Okay, so it's not one of the fields. It's it's just the grass area around the building.
Yeah, and it's
Okay.
shooting straight up and just basically flooding out the pavement around that area.
Okay.
It's pretty easy to see that the head has been torn off.
All right. So I will let Ryan know that, and I'm sure he'll take a look. All right. So were there any other, or now we're getting to facility and field requests. So I don't believe we have any. I know Mike has been working with LMS and Tabernacle, and how's all that going with coordinating Sawmill?
That's fine so far. Tabernacle's pretty much using it when they need to, and then when LMS has games, they're going to relocate to Brickyard. The interesting thing is like LMS actually doesn't really have a lot of games. It has like 3 or 4 total, if I remember off the top of my head, scheduled. Well, I know they're still trying to add more, and as they do, they email out to the email group. But I mean, they're still struggling to have find opponents right now, and with COVID and everything.
I did have Red Cross come down and meet me at Talent middle of the week. They're going to be looking to possibly use Talent for a Red Cross blood drive at some point. So I just gave him a quick walkthrough of the facility to see if it's something that they could utilize. He does believe the setup would work. Now they're going to go back and look for sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. So I would expect a request from Red Cross, possibly end of October, November, he's thinking is, but I also explained the situation. He understands that there may be sports going on. We really don't know what's going on at this point, but I will expect a field request from them at some point.
Okay. And I still got to get that letter out there. All right. Anything else as far as field requests or facility requests? Okay, new business, the CIP presentation. Andy, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I don't know. I think Steve, were you involved in that? Like, do I have to present for that or?
No, just the big thing is that, I mean, it's not a lot of information, but the slide, because you went to that last meeting, right, and gave them the information, so it looks good. It's like,
Yeah, I gave him. Yeah, I mean, just it was the same thing on the parking lot. I think they had 175,000. Is that what it was,
Yep.
Steve?
Yes. So the thought process for tomorrow night's public hearing is for different CIP members to introduce the slide and to have somebody from each department there just to give a little synopsis background on the project itself.
So do I need to attend that?
If you could, it'd be great.
Okay. What time?
It starts at 6 p.m. and you're on slide number
24 or something like that, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you jump in, you can jump in right at 6 and listen if you wish, or if you jump in probably 6:30ish, you'll be good.
Okay. I'll have you text me when you're on slide 23.
Yeah. The school goes first, and then after that, it's police, fire, I think highway. So when we start getting close, I'll shoot you a text.
So what am I talking about? Like the same thing we talked about last time, like all the breakdown of
High
costs?
level that we're looking at drainage, we're looking at, stone going down, pavement, just very basic.
Okay. No, that's fine. I just wasn't sure. I hadn't really heard anything about it.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to look through the slideshow. I was sort of after our question on the last ballot on whether people wanted a new hall, a new rec hall. I'm amazed at all the new buildings that are being looked at in town. So,
what it was is we asked each department to come forth on what their needs were. And based on that, we put them all together and we prioritized from a town standpoint what the needs are. So, I mean, it's just a master plan. And the reason we need it is in order to assess impact fees. And without having a master plan, you cannot collect impact fees. So it's something that needs to be done. And we look at it every 6 years. And it's a living document. So we know a lot of things may not even make it to warrant this year or next year or subsequent years, but keep it active, roll them down, different ways of approaching where the town needs to get.
So I guess my question is, and my concern is, how are the funds divvied up? In other words, are they divvied up based off of percentage of what is part of the CIP plan? Like, in other words, so impact fees come out, and if there's $20 million worth of stuff on the CIP and we're in for 175,000, we're going to get like 2 cents on the dollar towards the recreation.
I don't know how they're divvied, but I don't think it's that way. I don't think that's how it's done. I think there's actually a percentage and has nothing to do with the CIP itself The bigger thing is if it's not on the CIP, it's very hard to get backing from the town. So at least if we're able to point back to the master plan and say, you know, we've been thinking for the last X amount of years that this is a need of the town, you're more apt to get that onto a warrant. But I will get the answer, Andy, for you and shoot you a note on how they're actually calculated off of what is collected.
Okay. All right. So Andy, thank you for volunteering to go.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Old business, the 2021 budget / warrant article. So I did forward the budget as we had it to Troy for the selectmen. You know, the only thing that we need to update is once we do get a contract for 2021 for landscaping and field maintenance, that number will have to be, if it will need to be adjusted. But we'll have a contract there for that. So that sort of brings us to the field maintenance RFP. And I know there's some back and forth on maybe we need to make some adjustments. And one thing I did talk to a couple people about, and I wanted to discuss tonight, is the possibility of breaking out, taking some things out of the RFP as far as areas to maintain, namely the John Bryan River access, the grass outside of the field areas at Talent, or not at Talent, at Dara, and then also like in front of the, up by the tennis courts, that area. I think it would be something that, number one, will help us attract more contractors that really want to do field maintenance but don't want to be dealing with the peripheral stuff. And also, I think that we would be able to do it a little bit more cost effectively, combining with the Conservation Commission and having the Highway Department hire a part-time employee because they've got the trucks, they've got the equipment. You know, it's shortchanged to hire a part-time kid during the spring, summer, and fall to go out there and cut it. And I think we can, you know, save the town a little bit of money and I think take something off the plate of you know, a company like Natticook or somebody else that's, you know, their focus really should be on the fields. And
Agreed. They're really two different animals at the end of the day, you know.
So,
So
I
is
don't know
that
what
something
your
we need
thoughts
to
are.
revise now, or has the RFP already gone out?
It was pulled back, correct, Steve?
Correct. The RFP has not gone out. We need to change the dates and we need to change any verbiage we want before it goes out.
So,
Okay, I'll take a crack at that tomorrow, and I assume we need to get this out ASAP.
yeah. So you have it as a Google Doc, right?
Yep.
Can you just reshare it with me and we can sort of tweak it? And maybe what we'll do is, I mean, is everybody okay with us taking those areas of the RFP out?
As long as Highway agrees that they're gonna maintain them, right?
Well, should we take them out and just have them as separate line items bids, just in case we do not get a summertime employee to take those? From a highway standpoint?
So would we want to do that as a second RFP or just as a second, an add-on in the RFP? So in other words, give us a quote with and without these.
Yeah, I just
You can do it as an addendum.
line item pricing. You know, you want these broken out.
Okay. Yeah, because we don't want to eliminate it and then, well, see, how would that work though? See, because if we sign a contract, like if we get it in the RFP and then we won't know if the highway department can get that additional employee until after the election in March, correct?
Well, it's a summertime hire, and in the past we have been able to, within the budget, absorb having a summertime individual. But I think what helps us now is we're going through the budget season right now, and we have to really look at the all the different line items because we are on top step right now. I think if we have this come in by the time we're getting ready to set the budget, and go to deliberative, we'll know exactly which way we have to go.
Okay.
Now, Steve, for an overview, what would that require for like an employee? They must be 18 years old, work for the town, so they're covered by the insurance situation.
It's it could be a high school student, could be a college student, could be somebody looking for part-time work.
Is there an age requirement?
I don't think we have an age requirement.
Because it would be a great job for a teenager in town if they have a way of shuttling around the equipment.
Right. I think it would,
Definitely.
it would have
Most
to
of
be
the time,
18, I
it's on a
believe.
mower.
I think it would have to be 18 unless they were getting dropped off there, right? They wouldn't be able to drive a town vehicle.
Correct. Yeah, they'd have to be getting dropped off. I mean, the last one we had was Matt Lepore, was our last summer hire for part of it. Then I think we had somebody else, but of course he was well over the age of 18 when he did it. And I think historically we've had 16, 17-year-old kids do it. But I can definitely get the information and shoot it out to everybody and what the requirements would be.
All right. And it really wouldn't be our decision anyway. It would just be that they'd be the ones maintaining it.
This is just more for anybody who has somebody who may be of interest.
Yeah.
So am I editing this now or?
I mean, it might be easier to do offline. I mean, I don't know if you, I mean, we should decide on the dates.
Yeah, the dates, let's just take a look right now. I mean, theoretically,
Let's say we get it out on Friday this week.
So it's got to be advertised for 2 weeks per the purchasing policy.
so that would put us out to the 9th of October.
So how about we do the 13th of October, because then we have a meeting that night.
Well, it'd be due October 9th. Then we could open them.
Well, we can have them do October 13th and open them, right? Or do you want to open them on the nights? That way we have them before we meet on the 13th.
Yes.
Gotcha. And Steve, is town hall closed on the 12th for Columbus Day?
Oh, I don't not know. Let me see if I can see the calendar.
I mean, not that it would make a difference. I'm just wondering if we don't get there. Because I don't think there's mail delivered that day, correct?
Correct.
So I just been trying. I can get there with Troy on the 9th
So
in the afternoon.
Historically, we have been closed on Columbus Day.
Okay. So I'll just plan on meeting with Troy on the 9th. If we get that RFP out Thursday or Friday of this week, I'll be meeting him that afternoon and opening the any of the bids that we receive, and then we'll scan and get everybody for review for our meeting on the 13th.
And the
That
town
sounds
hall
good.
is closed. And the town hall is closed on October 12th.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
All right. So we'll just sort of work on separating that out a little bit, and maybe if we can easily wordsmith it. We're not really changing anything majorly. You guys did get the copy of the email from our current contractor on his notices on what he noticed on the what was missing on the RFP.
I did, but he was looking at an old version.
Okay, I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Yeah, all that
did.
stuff is in there.
The old one came through on him, and that was the one he reviewed.
Okay. Yeah, because I thought we had those exact same discussions last time through, so that was good.
Yeah, Andy had captured everything in the RFP, in the new RFP.
Yeah.
All right. So just change the dates based on our discussion now, and I'll take a crack at this tonight and send it around to you tomorrow.
Okay.
So we are going to have that as like a third proposal. Is that what we decided just now? Sorry, I was changing dates.
What do you mean is a third proposal?
Like the John Bryant River access will, will be one portion, in outside of the fences at Town Hall and the,
And up by the tennis courts.
up by the tennis courts. I mean, is that a separate proposal that we want a number for, or is that
I would
something
say,
we're planning on the town doing at this point?
yeah, if they could price, basically we would look at, in this RFP, we would like that separated as a separate piece of the bid so that,
Okay.
you know how before we were talking about splitting it between maintenance and cutting. So this is not doing that, but it would separate those specific areas for cutting as opposed to, that way they can say, this is our bid, it's X amount of dollars with, without doing these areas, and these additional areas would be an additional $4,500.
Right.
And that sort of helps us too, in the fact that we can then talk to the highway department and say, and they're like, well, it's going to cost us $2,000 to do it, and we're looking at 4,500. That's an easy thing. Or if we're looking at 4,500 and he said it's going to cost 25,000, it wouldn't. But then we'd obviously know that the contract is a better way to go. But
Okay.
because Steve, they do have I know they have the equipment to cut the stuff by the bike path and stuff, and that would be definitely adequate for areas that aren't playing surfaces, I would assume.
Definitely. We have 2 new mowers that were bought last year. And on top of it, we do have, I think they call it the hauling machine, which is the big arm that can reach out and do the edge of the road. So we do have several different means to get the grass cut via the town. It's more of just a labor issue now.
Now, would it be something that down the road we would need to put into our budget? Like how?
Well, it may be. I mean, what we might end up doing is, let's hypothetically say it comes in at $8,000, and we know we could hire a summertime person for $5,000. Do we adjust the line item to $5,000 and pay the employee, out of the budget?
Okay.
That might be another way of looking at it, because we know the rate we want to charge, and we think how many hours it is. We can quickly calculate, what the summer pay would be to do that.
But would that be us hiring a new employee?
It would have to. I'd talk to Troy and see what we could do about the monies.
Okay.
How the line items.
I mean, it might just have to be the highway department basically bills us, right? We could do it that way.
It could be that. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways we probably could do it.
Okay.
Depending on Karen's end.
Andy, how are we going to separate it? If it's irrigated, we want the grass treated, and that would be going out to a contractor. But if it's not irrigated, the grass isn't going to be treated, such as John Bryan out in front of the tennis courts. Then we're going to try to have possibly the town do it, or have a contractor bid on that separately. So we're going to have field maintenance, field cutting, where the grounds are treated and watered and maintained, and then just the peripheral where it's just natural born grass. We're not watering it, we're not maintaining it, we don't want chemicals applied. Just cut it and trim the weeds.
Right. Well, I mean, the area around Talent is treated and it is irrigated.
Right.
But
so I would consider, if we're watering it, then let's have it treated as well. So around Talent Hall, I would think that should be, he doesn't have to make the grass look like it does on the infield, but maybe that facility would be all inclusive. But John Bryant River access and the fields and
Tennis courts,
soccer, and it's just the area where you just need to trim it, make it look good.
Right, but I mean, that's, when you look at it, that's completely different equipment that you'll need around Talent than you do for the fields at Dara.
Around Talent Hall,
Right.
But if we're watering it, why not just treat it so it's grass? Let the contractor determine.
Well, I'm saying we can still treat it. I mean, we're not separating the treatment part out.
Okay.
It's the actual cutting of the grass. Because I mean, most contractors that we've had in the past, they like the whole maintenance of it. Cutting seems to be the thing that a lot of these companies are trying to farm out. I mean, that's what we stayed away from with. But that one contract that we had, it turned out they were farming out the actual cutting of the grass, which is not something that we want. We want it all. The whole idea is having somebody that's cutting the fields to be able to see what's going on at the field, so they can notice, hey, this head's not working, or this is being underwatered. I'm seeing, grubs or whatever. You won't see that if you're not cutting the grass regularly. If you're just treating it every 6 weeks, you're not going to catch those things. All right. Anything else on the RFP? All right. How about any other business? Or Chris, have you heard about anything back on those the cameras?
I haven't. I just sent Troy a follow-up email.
Okay.
Tonight, so.
Any other business? Well, this is a quiet night. All right, so I guess I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second by Peter. We'll do a roll call. Colleen?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Chris?
Aye.
Mr. Weber?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
And I say aye, so that carries 800. We are adjourned. 8:02. Not bad.
Thanks, Andy.
All right, thanks. Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone. Be well.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
Have a good night, everybody.